What do you want to know? What's
The biggest thing that comes straight to my mind, man, is you've got yourself an audience, right? You set your own platform up, and you've not made some promises, but you've labeled who you are.
Yeah.
You know, you're 25 years old. One of the biggest things about you is that you're a vegan bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember when I asked you one day, it was like, how strict are you with being vegan? And you replied with the best answer possible. It's like, what do you mean? It's either you're vegan or not.
Yeah.
There's no in between. You know what I'm saying? My biggest question is to you is like, how do you balance that in your everyday lifestyle? Like, for example, you're coming down to Adelaide to meet family. You know, you don't have the liberty to cook all the time, you know, when you're going out, or carry supplements with you in airports or whatever. How do you stick to being a vegan 24/7, doing whatever activities that, you know, you enlist yourself into, right? How do you keep that consistency? How do you keep that discipline?
You're vegetarian, right?
I'm vegetarian.
Have you always been vegetarian all your life?
All my life I've been vegetarian.
So you've never had meat before?
I've never had meat.
Yeah. But like you know, man, even with being vegetarian, it's not a diet. It's just like a lifestyle thing, right? Like even when you go out, you don't get meat just because when it's harder to find something that's vegetarian, you don't like choose meat immediately. Like you're vegetarian. My only difference is I just don't eat dairy on top of.
I think I know what you mean. I myself already, I don't really eat much dairy at home. I don't even drink milk.
Yeah.
I honestly prefer oat milk. And I think I know what you mean where like, you know, it's a lifestyle, 100%.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's different for other people, but people who've grown up eating meat and they change their diet, I guess they don't understand they're also changing their lifestyle as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that kind of makes sense. Yeah, definitely.
But it's like, it's a moral thing, right, bro? Like, once you go vegan, it's not like, oh, you're doing it for health reasons. There are health benefits to going vegan, but essentially, it's just, I don't want to pay for the industry that treats animals the way it does. And
is that your biggest reason?
100%, bro. Like, all the health reasons, it's all like a bonus, but the number one reason is I watched a documentary called Dominion, which is about the meat and dairy industry in Australia, and it traumatized me. Like, it literally made me cry. Like, we gas these animals to death, and every time you pay for meat, every time you pay for dairy, you're paying for that to happen. So it's sort of like you're paying for something with your wallet. Have you heard that before? Like, you're voiding with your wallet.
Never heard of that.
So if there's a company or industry that does something really bad that you don't agree with, like, for example, Nestle is a big thing, right? When, like, the whole slavery thing, you don't want to support a company. Like, if there's a local brand that treats its workers right, that's more ethical, you don't want to support Nestle, which, you know, has child slaves, you know? And it's the same sort of mindset, but it's with food. Like, you don't want to support the industry that treats, that commodifies animals, that, you know, treats them like a product. And when I travel, when I go anywhere, the fact that I'm vegan isn't going to change. Like, if there's no vegan options, I'll always have a fail-safe. Like, it's 2023, bro. There's always vegan options everywhere.
Definitely, times have definitely changed. Like, when I first moved here, there wasn't that many vegetarian places. And vegetarian, if you were vegetarian, it was also considered that you eat fish.
Yeah.
People also like assume that, but now things have definitely changed. The vegan movement has definitely come in, so I understand what you mean by the fail-safe option as well.
Exactly,
100%.
man. So it's not like it's not an active choice I make. It's just a lifestyle. It's become so used to me. And there's always vegan options everywhere. Like, worst comes worst, bro, you're gonna find something that's vegan somewhere. But I always like to, like, for example, when I'm traveling, when I visit my family in Adelaide, I cook all my food. And I try to limit eating out as much as I can. Even if I eat out, there's vegan options everywhere. So it's so easy to be vegan, bro. Every place. And if a place has no vegan options, they're just fucking over their own business. Because there's so many vegans these days. But yeah, it's easy. It's not really that hard.
What do you think you can get out of going to the gym or working on yourself? Taking, you know, focusing on your development as a person, you know, what factors do you get out of the gym by, you know, controlling your diet, having a look at your lifestyle, changing it to suit your competitive needs as well, because you're going to be competing next year. What do you think doing this gets you out? Like, what do you get out of it?
Bro, honestly, like, I have so many people that have told me or asked me, like, how can I train for as consistently as I can, like training every single day, dieting, not eating out. They're like, how do you have the time for everything? How do you maintain the lifestyle you have But I've always thought about this, and for me, it's like, how do people who don't go to the gym, how do people who don't focus on themselves, how do people who just eat shit, junk, how do they live the life they do? I don't understand. I can't comprehend that. I would feel like complete shit if I didn't go to the gym, if I didn't look after myself. And obviously, bro, like the number one reason why most guys, why I started gymming was to get girls, like when I was really young. But at some point that changes because you really need to take your place to consistently push yourself and put yourself in a dark place in the gym. You need to go beyond that, and you really need to ask yourself why you're doing this. And for me, my why is because I can't imagine not doing it because I've been doing it for as long as I have. And obviously, you know this, bro. Like, you feel good about yourself.
100%.
And even from a health perspective, it's the best thing you can do for yourself. Like, there's people my age, there's other people my age with dad bods now. And I find that's, they don't take care of themselves, they eat junk. And even with my parents, like, all of the things that you do at this age, you're not going to feel it now, but you're going to feel it in your 30s, in your 40s. These health problems, if you're constantly eating junk food, if you're not exercising, you're going to feel these effects on your health when you're older, in your late 30s, your 40s. You're going to have your arteries blocked. You're going to have all these different problems. And these health problems doesn't necessarily, you could be skinny and still have these health problems. So you're going to feel it a lot older. And I feel like with South Asian, especially in our community, we have so many health problems.
We definitely do.
Diabetes, heart problems.
Heart diseases, yep.
Because we don't take care of ourselves in our younger ages.
I think it's also because a lot of things about especially South Indian or just Southeast Asian in general, we have a very carbohydrate-based diet. And a lot of people our age, back in India or back in Southeast Asia, they're very skinny fat. They have higher body fat percentage compared to minimal muscle.
That's true, yeah.
And that can definitely bring up a lot more like problems in the future as well, right?
Yeah.
And I've definitely seen that in my family as well. Like, my dad is, when he got married, he was triple digits. It was 110, 105 kilos or something like that.
Yeah.
And now he's in his like 75, 80s. So he's also been doing his working out, and I can see the change in his, not even just his like health, but almost in his the way he lives. I can see that he's always got a smile on his face. He's always more energetic, compared to maybe when he was back in the day when he was smoking or doing that. He had a more lethargic lifestyle. So I can definitely see that, committing yourself to a routine like the gym, or maybe even cutting off meat or cutting off certain like bad foods, you can definitely see a change in your life. 100%. I definitely agree with that. I definitely think that going to the gym is definitely, or like just working on yourself is a step in the right direction.
Yep.
Because just connecting to my previous point, you're doing it for yourself. Even though, for your reason, you were doing it to get girls, right? I feel like I can definitely see that somewhere along the way it changed and you're actually doing it for yourself now.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Like 100%. Like for now, like in the gym, I have to really put myself in such a place where it's all me. I have to look back on, myself and ask myself why I'm doing this, because your reason has to be bigger than just girls or just like for aesthetics, because that's only going to get you so far. You need to know why you're doing this, why you're pushing yourself. And it could just be like, even to have a good physique, there's a deeper reason why you want a good physique. That you really need to dig in deep. And I'd say with South Asians, it is a lot of carb heavy, but essentially it's calorie heavy. It's just calories in, calories out. Like you could still have high carbs and still have a good physique. I love carbs, bro. I can never imagine a life where I'm not eating, rice.
You've never tried anything like the keto thing or anything like that?
Keto's bullshit, man. Like, you're not gonna, any diet which you can't maintain for the rest of your life, why would you do that? A good diet is something you can maintain for the rest of your life. A good balanced diet. So yeah, like.
And of course, I believe that takes a lot of like tries as well, doesn't it? Like to get at it, like you can't just wake up one day and be like, yup, doing this. Like you always gotta fail, right? Because for me, I've, like, as of right now, my diet isn't the best.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first started gym, when I started getting introduced to the concepts of like bulking, cutting, calorie surplus, calorie deficit. Following that, it's very mental. it's very challenging because you're stepping out of your comfort zone and you're doing something that you not necessarily did, yesterday. You're now properly counting calories and doing something which people, kind of frown upon or like don't really like to do because they're like, it's almost nowadays it's looked like, why are you even dieting? It's gone to such a lifestyle now where society accepts eating junk food more than a person eating out. So if we went out right now, and I said go to Macca's and you were like, actually no, people would actually look down upon you being like, why are you dieting? It's so accepted nowadays that, eating junk food, not really looking after yourself, it's the norm.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Like, which is, it does feel lonely at times, especially with me, bro. Like, it feels lonely. Like, when you go out and you're eating and you know that you can't, like, eat everything. You have to stick to, certain kinds of foods, and it's lonely, but it's worth it. Because what you'll see happen is you're going to be an example. And I'm seeing this happen. Like, if you go out and you choose something that's healthy on the menu, like, and everyone else just eating shit, the next time there's going to be people who look at you, you're going to set an example. And then it's going to have a ripple effect. So you're going to make a difference slowly, but you want to set an example. You don't want to do something just because, like, if you go out, even like if you're going out partying and you choose not to drink, people are going to frown at that.
That's so true.
Like, they're going to be like, why aren't you drinking?
That's so true.
At the start, it's going to be like, you're going to feel lonely because you're the only one that's not drinking. But over time, you're going to have more people drink less and then not drink and then drink every now and then. And it's a ripple effect. So it's always, you have to set an example. So
but I don't think you can necessarily also like push that onto someone else though. Like, there's a lot of people that complain, like, with the vegan movement, one thing that I've always seen as a negative of that is how upfront they're about it. I myself, I've like talking from personal like experience, I've had a person like, what am I trying to say? Like a vegan, like a protester, like they came up to me with like, like bloodied in their face or whatever, their blood in their face, being like, you need to stop eating meat. And that's a bit confronting to me. See, I feel like when you're doing it like that, when you're going into someone's private space and you're pushing your views onto them, I think that's a bit wrong, definitely. But with the way you're saying where you're being not, maybe kind of humble, where you're kind of just doing it but you're not pushing it onto others, I think maybe that's a more of an approachable way to do it. I'm not sure. But I think that's,
I think that's a good point, bro. Like, obviously, I'm not going to say it's not up to me because it's activism at the end of the day. The things I do is an activism on some level. Preaching about veganism and what you said, like them, with blood in their faces, that's also a form of activism. But different things works for different people.
that's true.
And it's good. And I think it's good for people to, act, like promote activism in all sorts of ways because you never know what. For me, it's talking to someone, approaching them and like having conversations, like that really got me into veganism. But sometimes like you do need to get into people's faces. Sometimes you do, especially with things like climate change, like a lot of people are like, oh, protest in a nicer way. Don't disrupt the public. But what the fuck? That is the whole point of protesting. Even with all the political stuff, Israel, Palestine, there's no calm. The whole point of activism and protesting is to disrupt. And if you look at, even in Australia, all the things that we have now, Medicare, paid parental leave, paid sick leave, same-sex marriage, all of these things were achieved through protesting and union action. It's been fought for. And if you told those people back then, oh, maybe fight for universal healthcare in a nicer way, don't disrupt the public.
It may not have happened.
Exactly. Same-sex marriage, same thing. You could, like, if all these people protesting, if you said, don't get into people's faces about it, but that's the whole point. You want to educate people. You want to push for these things that you believe in.
That kind of makes sense as well.
So you can't, I don't want to be that person that says, don't do that form of activism because you never know what works for different people. It might not work for you.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't work for me.
But the person next to you, and me too, like when people, like in public, it didn't work for me, obviously, because I'd seen those people and I'd just walked past them.
But you just said that, you watched the Dominion documentary, which hit
you
in
that was
way.
that was a documentary that these people were pushing on me. But because I had, just chosen to ignore them and walk past, I didn't know about it. But then I had come across it in other ways. So
maybe, that makes sense because maybe for me, that kind of activism isn't the right approach for me to, step out of my comfort zone to see something completely different. But I think definitely like what you said about the documentary, doing your own research, I think that definitely comes into making a difference in your life.
Exactly,
100%.
bro. Because when I talk about veganism, I'm not pushing anything
I
anyone's.
definitely see that.
But the reason why is because I honestly believe everyone morally is vegan. Like if you ask someone, are you against animal cruelty? If their answer is yes, I'm against animal cruelty, that's veganism in a nutshell. But the thing is, do their actions align with their morals?
That's true.
Like if they're against something, why do they keep paying to support it?
Yep.
So I'm not pushing anything down. I'm just make aligning their actions with their morals. Everyone's already vegan. It's just making sure that their actions reflect that. Because no one's gonna be like, yeah, I hate animals. There are people like that, and they should fucking go to jail, bro. Psychopath. But yeah, like everyone's already vegan, is what I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That makes sense.
But it's tough because even something like the Melbourne Cup that happened recently, like, did you have people posting on their stories about, animal cruelty, like horse?
I didn't really see anything, no.
Okay, because I had a lot of people, and it's good. I love that. There's a lot of people being involved, being against the Melbourne Cup. You know the Melbourne Cup, right?
I do know. I don't really have social media, bro.
Oh, true, yeah. So the Melbourne Cup, so a lot of people were like against, they're like, because it's cruel. Melbourne Cup is cruel.
Is that kind of similar to like those greyhound dog racing stuff?
The same. Because horses, as soon as they're injured, they're killed.
That's true, I've seen that.
Like just this year, like not even the Melbourne Cup, there were 168 horses killed. Because as soon as they're injured, they shoot them in the head. And a lot of people are against that, which is good, but it's sort of hypocritical that they're against one form of animal cruelty, but then just go out and
but then they look side-eye to another one.
They go and buy meat the next day. So it's things are changing, but it's just reminding people, like, if you're against this form of animal cruelty,
it's the same as
it's
this
the same
one.
as this one.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah.
I think I've always because I've been vegetarian my whole life. Every time I don't necessarily see the implications of animal cruelty in the racing because I never even thought about it. But I can see that the industry, it's much more bigger than just slaughtering animals for meat.
Yeah.
There's more other areas where these animals are being treated like, just profit.
Exactly, bro. Especially with vegetarian. Like, I speak to a lot of vegetarians, and it's great that people are vegetarian. But the thing is, what I like to remind people...
I think I know I know what you're going to say.
Vegetarian, bro? Like, you know what I'm going to say. Like,
I know what you're going to say, bro.
I like exactly on your point. Like, there's different types of animal cruelty, and I honestly believe, and it is a fact, that the dairy industry is more cruel than the meat industry.
I 100% agree with you.
It's fucked what the dairy industry does. And on the surface, it's like, they're not doing anything, we're just taking milk from them.
No.
But it's so cruel because they're not just killed, but they're raped, impregnated over and over again, tortured, and then killed. I would rather, like, obviously, an animal that's killed straight away, that's more immoral than torturing an animal for the whole of its life and then killing it. But yeah, I feel like that's why veganism exists, bro. Like, and I get why people, especially South Asians, a lot of South Asians are vegetarian for religious reasons, for whatever reasons. But if you look at from an animal cruelty standpoint, especially as a Hindu, a lot of Hindus don't eat beef in India, right? If you look at the dairy industry, there's a lot more cows being killed in that industry than the meat industry.
That is true.
Because it works hand in hand. The dairy industry literally sells cows to be killed for meat to the beef industry. So I feel like the only way to be against all forms of animal cruelty is to go vegan. And I know that even going vegan, you're gonna kill animals by byproduct of making plants. Animals are always killed, but it's not about zero harm, it's about harm reduction. Reducing as much
minimizing
harm, minimizing it. Because you're never gonna get rid, the way our society is functioning, the way things are set up, you're always gonna kill animals, but reducing the amount of animals killed. Like 2 animals killed is better than 5 animals killed.
Of course.
So yeah, that's where I stand.
Yeah.
So what other questions do you have though on your phone?
One of the big ones I actually had was, where did you decide to make a change in terms of, you know, I've seen your other older videos where you talked about a lot of personal topics, porn addiction, weed addiction, right? What really made you break that cycle? What was it that you knew that you had inside of you that you knew that what you're doing right now isn't right? And how did you ensure that you were taking those steps to having a better lifestyle? Because I 100% agree with you with some of the things that you said, like young males, nowadays it's even more like pushed upon onto like kids and stuff as well, like with mediums such as TikTok, YouTube Reels, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. You know, when I was working, I had a customer who came in with their child who was probably like 3-4 years old, and he was on presumably the mum's phone, and while they were scrolling, one of the ads just came up, was just like this lady stuck in like a window, you know, like legs out, you know, tits out, everything. And it's a 3-year-old child being, you know, shown such pornographic content. It's soft porn, but it's still erotic content that can really fuck up the brains, the child's, you know, brain. Because it's desensitizing that material to them, and it's almost rewiring their brain. And it's made such an impact on young males these days where, you know, a lot of problems in terms of their sexual health, but it also reduces a lot of their confidence and how they talk to people. And when you talked about that, what were you doing to make sure that you wouldn't step into those, in stepping back into those zones again? Were we putting rules onto yourself, or were you following something? What was it that you kind of like did to make sure that you don't stray down that path again?
Yeah, that's a good one, bro. And obviously, with anything, with any kind of addiction, it's the number one step is realizing that you have an addiction. And a lot of guys don't, especially with smoking weed, right? Like, you're smoking weed and you're always, this is me. I don't know, like, in my head, I was always like, I can stop whenever I want. But I couldn't, because I was like chasing that dopamine high every single time. But it just, I don't know what happened, but I guess it was a sort of ripple effect. Once I stopped smoking weed, I just stopped watching porn. And then the more I got into the research behind what porn does to your brain, what it actually does, I was like, I need to make a change. I need to make serious changes, because the way my life was heading, the way my body was heading, I knew that it was wrong. It was bad. It was harmful for me. It was harmful for my relationships. It was harmful for the kind of person I was becoming. And I can't really tell you when or what really made me change, bro, but it was just a combination of a whole different lot of things. Stopping weed, getting into fitness, going to the gym a lot. And yeah, that's just, and once my confidence started getting back up, I could not go back.
I think it ties into the like the thing that you're talking about earlier about setting an example. Because me, as of right now, I can look up to what you're doing. I can see that you've put in this work to stop the porn addiction, stop the weed addiction, and I can see the person that you are now. And I can see the choices that you've made reflects upon who you are as a person. That definitely sets an example, definitely in my mind as well, knowing that not necessarily doing the exact same steps as you, but if I go in the right direction as you, I can gather the character values that you show off. I think that kind of makes sense, for sure. And it definitely does make an impact, but I think that does take time as well, though. You know, it just can't happen straight away. It's one of those things where you got to fall back, but you got to get back up as well.
For sure, bro. Like, I failed so many times with weed. So like what I did was I knew I couldn't stop weed straight away. So it was like, I made a promise that this was during COVID, once gyms opened back up, I was going to go to the gym every single day, but I was going to get high and slowly taper off of it. And that's what I did. I was still getting high, but I was eating healthier. I was controlling my munchies harder, and I slowly tapered off. I was going to the gym every single day, and it's just working on one habit one at a time, because you can't make the whole change at the same time. So one thing was like going to the gym every day, but still watching porn, smoking weed. And then slowly getting rid of weed, getting rid of porn. And then it comes back to what kind of person you want to be in the future.
Definitely.
Like when you're a parent, you have an idea, I'm sure you have an idea in your head, the kind of guy you want to be, the kind of things you want to stop doing. Even for me, bro, until recently, vaping was a big thing. I was so hooked on vaping. And it's so easy, especially when you live by yourself, to get hooked on something like that because no one's telling you not to do
No
it.
one's there to, yeah.
And especially vaping, you could vape wherever, in your room,
Anywhere.
when you're driving. And I was hooked on vaping a lot. I was doing it every single day, wherever I drove.
That's another big thing now as well, isn't it?
It's so
Vaping
big.
is such a big culture, especially in states like New South Wales and Victoria where it's actually legal, right?
Yeah.
You can actually buy it from like convenience stores or whatever.
Wait,
right?
you can't buy it here?
No.
Wait,
you
you can't-
can't buy nicotine.
Are you serious?
Vapes. You can buy like the
What
vapes.
I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, you can buy like vapes that are like, it's just flavored air, no nicotine or anything, right? But it's
Yeah.
still vape. But if you wanted to buy like a proper like vape with nicotine, the disposable ones especially, you got to go through like third-party
That's-
services.
I did not know that.
Like the plug dealers that sell bud, they
Fuck,
also
dude,
sell
that's
like
crazy.
they also sell like vapes.
But yeah, like it's all about, because I knew the kind of person I wanted to be in the future, the kind of parent. I don't want to be someone who vapes or smokes. And if I want to be that person, I need to make the changes now. Because vaping for me, I was like, work's getting stressful. It's going to be a quick, just to take the edge off things. But then it quickly, I slipped in. I was addicted to it every day.
But then how do you like, I guess, change that habit into something that also relieves you from work or whatever? Like, how do you stop that and put that kind of energy towards a more healthier thing? Like, instead of vaping, like, how do you change it to like, going for a run or something? Or is there something else that you do instead of like doing the, like, instead of
It's hard,
vaping?
bro. It's so hard. It's because I know, because this is so recent. Until like a month ago, I was vaping like pretty much every day. But it's hard, but you just have to stop. There's no like, I wish I could give you tell you how I did it.
Yeah.
But it's just
There's
literally
no- yeah.
ditching it
There's
and
no-
then
yeah.
keeping it away from you. Literally, that's all it is. And it got to a point, I'm sure, when you're addicted to vaping, you wake up in the morning
You grab it.
and you grab it because it feels like you have a hangover and you need it to feel normal. And that was the shittest feeling. And I remember when I stopped vaping 2 days into it, I wake up and I felt energized. And then I was like, fuck, vaping made me feel so shit in the morning. It was the shittest things one of the shittest things I was doing to my body. So I stopped vaping and like now I just try to stay away from it as much as I can. I feel like since you're 19 at the moment,
Now 19.
you're at such a young age, bro. Like all the decisions you make, like when I was 19, it's great that you're even having these conversations now because when I was 19, I was a dumb fuck. I was young and dumb and I had no idea what I was doing. So the decisions you make now will reflect the kind of person you'll become in the
100%.
future.
I definitely believe in that.
And make mistakes, bro. Like you're gonna fuck up. You're not gonna be perfect, but it's about learning from that. And just the fact that you're thinking about these things right now, it's a big thing.
I think that's step one, isn't it?
Yeah,
The thing they said as well is when you realize that you have an addiction. Like that's the first step.
yeah,
And that definitely makes sense. I think it's one of the biggest things is that people don't actually admit to what they're doing. They don't take accountability. And I think that's what people need these days. They need to be, they need to not be held accountable by other people, but by themselves.
Yeah.
They need to understand that, what they're doing right now is having an impact on only them
yeah,
and on their future. And I think it's very hard for people to get a grasp of that.
100%, bro. And like you're at such a young age where the things I'm saying, it can come across as, oh, you can't have fun, but I think you should have fun. When it comes to like drinking, smoking weed, even, like vaping, life is good in a balance. You don't want to be too strict, and especially at your age, in your early 20s, you want to have fun. You want to drink, but I would say drink, maybe be really selective about when you drink. And when you do drink, don't go all out. Just have fun, bro. Like it's good to live life at the same time as living as healthy as you can. But you don't want to be too strict and you don't want to be too like fucked up.
But I also think that it's also like very, it's very personal to everyone as well. Like I noticed that, if I'm at a party with you, I notice that you don't even need a drink to get lit. You're just lit by yourself. You
Yeah.
can just get in there with your Diet Cola and
Yeah,
you're
dude,
just
I love
going
that Coke.
crazy.
Yeah. I fucking-
So I think it's definitely like, it's one of those things that's not one size fits all. Like maybe someone only needs one drink.
yeah.
Like for me personally, I don't really even drink.
Yeah.
I don't. When I go out to parties, I actually do tend to, I tend to just engage more in the convos, right?
Yeah.
I tend to be with the people. And if they drink, it's fine. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100% know what you mean though.
Yeah, but if I go out, like even now, if I go out in Sydney, like if I go out to my house party, like instead of drinking, if I want to get fucked up, I would just smoke up. It's much better for you. And the best thing about smoking up is I don't do it every day. Like I do it maybe like once a month, like once every few months. But that's what makes it better because your tolerance is so low. And like things like that, they're good every once in a while. And I can still train. I can wake up the next day, I can still train. It doesn't affect my gym progress. It doesn't affect anything. But with alcohol, I have to be really selective. If I choose to drink, I need to be like, oh, I need to have 2 drinks. I need to make sure it fits my calories. I'm going to feel like shit the next day. And I hate how I feel.
And I feel like that's going to get increasingly harder when you get more into the competitive stage.
For sure. So smoking up, it doesn't, 0 calories. I feel good. But at the same time, I'm not, there's a difference between smoking up and having fun and being a stoner every single day.
That's definitely
It's so easy to become a stoner every day, bro. So as long as you're not doing that, but I think, bro, you're 19 now, like you have your whole life ahead of you. So make mistakes, but know the kind of person you want to be. That's the main
100%.
thing.
I think that's definitely the goal, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely the goal. Where, about the thing that he said, like, see where you want to be as a parent and work towards that.
Exactly, bro. It was nice talking to you, man. I hope this helped.
I really appreciate it.